Now, if that intro does not take you back to days gone by, nothing else will. Look what's happening. The boys are back. The boys are back together. How we doing, G? How we doing, Matty? We've got a Premier League show again. Oh, you missed that intro. You've missed that intro. Admit it. Admit it.
Honestly, it's I'm trying not to cry. I mean that this was some of the most fun times I've had when doing Premier League show with you. Me and Matty fighting, Gary being the guy that calms everything down. It's this was such a fun show. I'm so happy to be back. I'm happy they were rolling again. Matty, how you doing, dude?
Look, mate, I am good. It's a Sunday evening. It's still warm in the UK, which is a bit mad. And we're here talking Premier League football with the boys. I mean, come on, what more could a guy want? This is good. I've missed this. This feels right.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, not only does it feel right, it's the perfect timing because this Premier League is going to be crazy this year. I feel like there's going to be a lot of that top 7 is going to be crazy. So
I think 7, 8, 9. I think it's going to go down to 8 or 9.
4, baby. We're going to be 4 or 5.
Oh, way too early predictions. Wait, too early predictions. Way too early. We can come back to that. Where do we want to start, boys? Do we want to get diving in straight into the first weekend, or do we want to throw in some preseason? Or let's start.
Let's talk about the games. No preseason.
No preseason. I was thinking, should we start at West Ham with the whole new change and everything that's going on? How are you feeling, man? You finally got rid of Moyes.
Yes,
that's got to be a relief.
Well, I want to put some respect on Moyes. You know, he got us. He did get us out of the dump when Pellegrini was here, and they did bring us back to Europe twice. He won us Conference League first trophy, and geez, way before I was even born. So it's you got to give him props, but it did not last long after he won. You're supposed to be getting better years and years after that, and with this 1 year, it just no one bought into him. But it was crazy because Stedman and Noble offered him a contract extension in the middle of the year last year, and no one knew this until like the very end, like a 2-year extension. So glad he didn't take it. But Moyes even knew that everyone wasn't really bought into his system. No one really believed in him anymore, and there were changes coming. And then all of a sudden, Stedman was rumored to go to your team, Gary, Liverpool, at the time to be a GM. So there was a lot of things going on, and now I'm really happy that all that's settled. Everything is where we need to be. What's his name? Lopetegui? Yeah, our coach.
Yeah. It's going to take a while to get used to that. Right? Lopetegui, isn't it?
Yes.
Lopetegui.
Yes. He's like a Moyes in a way. So he's got the same system, but the only thing about him is he presses when you need to press, and not what Moyes used to do was do all of his subbing at the end of the game. This one was more good. It was more 70th minute, what you like, 75th minute. I'm like, okay, good. Not the 85th minute, not the 90th minute.
Not the last minute where it's too late to do anything about. Yeah.
Right. Now, his substitutions were mad this first game. So I'm like, he took off our captain. He took off he took off a bunch of people, but like once you have
he wasn't scared to try it, right?
But we have a strong bench now. We haven't had that in a few years. So that's
he's done well on the transfer market. There's been some good signings, some interesting. He's not gone. What I thought was interesting. Some of the signings, they're not young, they're not untried, but they're not.
They're a bit of everything.
They're a bit of mix.
They're a bit of everything.
The experience, the Fulcrum.
But they're proven. They're proven players, and they've been all over the world, and they're going to fit this system right now. Here's the thing: just like what we said about NFL teams from the other shows. They look good on paper. Even Premier League, they look great on paper, but they gotta be out there in the pitch and make it all come together. The first few games, it's not all going to be sunshine and rainbows. They're all not up to fitness well, so it's going to be a while. It's going to be a while, but once it comes together. Man, watch out for West Ham. I'm serious. I'm excited. This is the first time I've been excited in a very long time. So it's gonna be good.
And that's what I thought about it. It was like there's been a lot of changes quite late, and the team's only kind of coming together now still. Right. So the fact the season's almost probably 2 or 3 weeks early for West Ham.
Yeah, because all of them didn't go to Florida. They didn't go to preseason. They didn't go to a lot of things. But the thing is, what's weird about West Ham, and I think, Matty, I think you'll agree with me, West Ham has always done things at the last minute, right? Transfer windows, even in January. We're getting all of our transfers done now. Like, it's in the middle of August, and we're not on deadline day.
You're not scrapping around going, we desperately need this, we desperately need that. Yeah.
Now we're going to sell players, and we're going to get 2 more players, and then we're done. So I'm like, okay, great. And that has to come together.
Yeah, actually, I think for probably the first time in quite a long time, it actually feels like there's like a very clear plan, right? I feel like you kind of look at what's happening at West Ham and be like, cool, they've brought in a coach and they have the idea of what they want to do, and they're gonna go out and do it. And like you said, they've got stuff sorted early, which is really, really good. You know, it just actually looks like the club is going somewhere, right? Like you said,
I think healthy.
Yeah, I think like you said, like there definitely needed to be some respect on Moyes' name, like for what he did, especially winning that European trophy with you guys. That's massive. But like you said, you could tell the tide had shifted, right? Like it was more than just like a murmuring in the fan base. They weren't happy. Because I guess it's one thing if like your club is like winning all the time, but the football isn't, you know, very nice. Like watching Chelsea win the Premier League like under Jose Mourinho. It's not the most exciting football in the world, but if you're winning week in, week out, nobody really cares, right? But I guess then you have that problem of the football was never that exciting to watch. You also weren't, you know, like dominating everyone and just going out and destroying people. So, you know, it was bound to come to a halt at the end. I think it was maybe it ended quite nicely, but I think, yeah, like you said, West Ham have done well. It looks like they're building something. They've comfortably moved on. They're clearly into that next phase of their development now. I think you're kind of right to be excited as a West Ham fan right now. Like it feels exciting.
Yeah.
And one more thing, and then Gary, you could take it away. When you're a club like West Ham, people think we're not a big club, but we are. You look at the stadium, you look at how much we've spent, you look at the revenue we bring in every year, you look at fans all over the world. Like they are representing West Ham. Now, granted, people are going to West Ham more like Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City. You're still going to have a lot of those teams, right? But I still feel like West Ham is still up there. And I still feel like when you're giving your team this type of opportunity and when you've won a Conference League Cup, like you should be fighting for Europe always every year if you're in this type of mode. I feel like that's what the thing is with Moyes. He didn't get us even after we won. He got us there. He got us to Europe twice. We won, but it's always, what are you going to do afterwards? It's always, what are you going to do for me lately? And I feel like Lopetegui, if he can get there, because he's got that great history in Spain. He's had some success a little bit in the Premier League, and a lot of our players that have signed with us are coming because of our GM, because of Noble being his assistant, because of Lopetegui. That's what you want. And I feel like that's the important thing coming to the next step of the West Ham rebuild.
I think you're right. I think having players going there because, hey, they know the coach, they want to play for their coach, they've played for him before or whatever else. And, you know, yes, and they know his system and they'll help the transition, but it's a stable environment. And I think you're right. You know, all kudos to David Moyes. He got, you know, went through the ringer a fair bit with the fans and everything else, but he did get you that trophy. But I think you're right. Once you did that, it was almost like a look to the horizons, what's next? And there didn't seem to be a step. You know, it was like
it felt like
the same stuff. That was, you know, he'd reached the peak and he was like, we'll just do it again. It's like, you can't just do it again. People have seen it. They've done it now. You know, you can't stand still. And I think, unfortunately for Moyes, he kind of stood still on his principles, his ethos, and the way he plays football and the way he wants his teams to set up. And that just ended up just stagnating. And I think that's what, as you say, towards the end of the middle to the end of last season, you could see, I don't want to say he lost the locker room, but players weren't really buying in. None of the fans were gone. The boardroom, backroom staff was all a bit messy. So it ended as best as it could because there was no relegation worries. There was no sort of worry of that. And that's the good thing, right? You were secure in Premier League football. You could plan ahead. And what you've done since then shows that the strategy has changed a lot for West Ham. So it is an interesting time, and it is going to be definitely fun to watch what comes out of East London for the rest of the season.
I agree, 100%.
Well, speaking of fun and interesting transitions, obviously Liverpool. I'm going to just dive straight in there. I mean, they went through. Jurgen Klopp hung up his coaching badges and coaching boots. I get his point. You know, it was heartbreaking when he made it, but then you look at it. You know, 9 years of full heavy metal football or whatever it was against you know, just constantly, and Man City just doing what Man City do for all of those years. It takes it out of you, and I think in a weird way, the Arsenal fans found that out last season when they were so close, and they were like, "Yeah, we're going to win," and just one little slip up was all it took to suddenly go, "Oh, Man City are going to win now," and that's it. You know, and I think I get why Jurgen was like, "I'm tired now," and it's like, "Can I get back up for another season to kind of batter against that wall of Man City?" And it was like, okay, fair enough. You know, he's done everything. He's won pretty much everything he could win. Fair play, go and relax in retirement. What gets me is Arne Slot's come in, he's changed the system. He looks like he wants to play a bit more controlled football, a little bit more Dutch style, which is going to be, you know, interesting. The first Dutch manager we ever had, but it's going to be a transition with no new players, and that's surprising for me. We haven't signed anybody. We sold a couple of youngsters on and whatever else, which is a shame. I think Carvalho is going to be a great signing for Brentford when he gets on the pitch. But yeah, there's been interesting no new signings coming in. That's the one that worries me, because changing a system usually needs some fresh blood who buy into that system. So the fact that he's not done that is interesting. But you know, we're off to a good start. But it's interesting times for Liverpool, and I don't know what to expect. You know, you're saying you're excited. You can't wait to see. You got West Ham high up on your predictions. I think Liverpool are in that nobody really knows scenario of they're probably going to be top half of the table, but are they going to be top 4, top 6, top 8? Oh, who can really say right now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest, that is very peculiar, right? But to be honest, I'm looking at your lineup and I don't. There's some injury prone guys. We can agree there, but I mean, y'all got a pretty solid lineup to me. I know you guys have been rumored to try and sell Luis Diaz. I definitely know that the price tag is set at like 75 million. I get that. I think you guys should keep him, but I think it's at the point where I think you guys should be okay. I think maybe one or two people would have been nice to come in, but you guys got a lot of young guys. You definitely have a stable lineup. As long as you guys are healthy, I still think you guys can make a nice little run this year. I still think the team is still there. The team is still there. The
crux of the team is there, and there's a few youngsters coming in, Harvey Elliott, Jones in the middle, stuff like that. But my concern is Virgil goes down, Konate goes down, maybe Trent goes down. What's the backup behind them?
Yeah, and
we're kind of the second. There's not. The bodies are there, but are the bodies who are backing up as good as they could be? And that's a little bit more. But we'll see how we pan out. But he started off well. And Matty, speaking of bodies and having plenty of people on the squad, how big is Chelsea's squad now? Are you just playing fantasy?
Bro, you got like 100 people over there.
It's just like, what's going on? How many more have Chelsea signed today?
I think the only thing you really need to keep an eye on when you're looking at how bloated a squad is how many keepers do they deem necessary? Because like trust me, right? I think goalkeepers are obviously a very important part of a football team. I think we can all agree that. Obviously, West Ham have had some good keepers. Alisson is ridiculously important to what Liverpool do, right? So okay, fine. Obviously, goalkeepers are important. Now, with our latest signing of Mike Penders, who I'm sure is a very promising young goalkeeper. Well, I feel like that's most of our goalkeeping squad. We now have 8 senior goalkeepers at the club. Which
8?
Yeah, 8. It looks like it. I've been counting.
Which just seems absolutely valid. Because when
I get playing out from the back and using your goalkeepers as kind of like last line of defense sweepers.
No. Here, there you go. There you go, Matty. I got you.
We got 38 Premier League games, right? So 38. What's that? 8, 16, 24, 32.
Yep.
Right. That means 4 goalkeepers. No, 8 goalkeepers can have 4 games, and then we're going to have 6 games. So 6 of the goalkeepers are going to be able to play 5 times this season, and then 2 of them are only going to get 4 games, unfortunately. So if we have like a totally fair rotation, which seems absolutely valid. Yeah, look, boys, I don't know what to tell you. I honestly, every like couple of days, just being on Chelsea Twitter or X, if you're nasty. The only thing that comes up for me is that clip of Drogba being like, "I don't recognize my team anymore," and I just feel like that is where I'm at now. Like, Conor Gallagher played like the most minutes for us last season, and now we're selling him to Atletico. But I'll wait. No, we're not. He's on the plane.
No, you're not. He's gonna sit in a hotel room, and then he's come back, and he's like, "What?"
Because you don't know what you guys are gonna get as João Felix. You don't know if you're gonna get.
Yeah, we're bringing João Felix back. We didn't want him a year ago, apparently, and now like.
It's Sterling. You don't know what you're gonna do with Sterling either.
Sterling, he's kicking off now, which is totally fair. I feel like
no wonder he's probably looking around going, "Hey, my locker room's over there, but my locker's over there, but I can't get to it with the 68,000 people
I can't
in
even
the
park
way."
My car in the car park, mate. It's just
like what I've seen on Twitter. As you're talking about on Twitter, Matty, all the memes of like, "Hey, look, the Chelsea team first team warm up," and it's just like stupid. A pitch invasion of people.
We deserve it. I feel like. I look at us and I look at what we spoke about West Ham. West Ham have a plan. West Ham know what they're doing. West Ham have a direction. Like, I just feel like Chelsea are just playing FIFA and have just given themselves like the biggest financial takeover and are just buying everybody.
Ultimate teams, just like, get this card. Yeah, he'll do. Yeah.
It's just stupid. Like, Gallagher played the most minutes for us last season. He captained the team, and I'm not saying he's the most talented guy in the world, right? I'm fully aware of Conor Gallagher's limitations, but also you can't give him all those minutes and make him captain, and then next season be like, you're training with the reserves unless you move. And like Trevor Chalobah, homegrown guy, he made our defense look solid last year. Right. You're training with the reserves unless you move, because we've spent so much money on people that we don't need that we have to get rid of homegrown talent to make this club function anymore. By the way, we've sold off 7 hotels, which totally makes our finances work. This is not my football club. It's stupid. It's
so funny because you went from Reece James to be your captain, right?
Yeah.
So then you said Gallagher was your captain.
The problem is, I think Reece James still is our captain, but he's got bones cheese strings.
Captain or something.
True, because of his injury history, right?
He's just out all the time. Okay. And then Chilwell was our
as soon as he thinks of warming up, I think
last season, Ben Chilwell. So Gallagher kind of just inherited it. But I also think he did a good job. Like, he led by example. He always ran through a brick wall for that team. He played for the crest on the shirt because he's been with the club since he was a kid. And those are the only players that are getting moved on, not these ridiculous signings that we made for XYZ amounts of money with like 12-year contracts. Like,
you're getting all of these players, and it's like, don't get me wrong, they're all talented. You have a talented group. Like, there's no, like, even with all the crap that happened with Enzo Fernandez, right? He's still a good player. But the thing is, like, you could totally sell off all these, like, a lot of these players and still probably get some money back to put into the club and make sure you got priority on some of these, because I know Murdoch is probably under fire right now because of what happened last year and the year before. Like, you gotta have a clear mind what you're gonna do, because these players are gonna play like crap if they don't have a clear mind on where the transition is going. And plus, they're making so much money just sitting there. That's all they're doing. They're making so much money just sitting there. It's crazy.
So nobody's going to want it. The thing is, the problem is, if they got like 9-year contracts at Chelsea, which is
like 8 to 9 years, correct? Yeah, correct.
Total loophole that somebody needs to slam shut soon before this gets silly. Because they, as you say, they're on like silly money.
Yeah.
Over a longer period is how they've got away with it, and they try and sell those on. And this has happened. I think I've seen it with City, and we're bouncing around as we always do. But some City players have kind of gone, yeah, I don't mind if I go over there and play football and actually get some minutes, but you've got to pay me what I'm getting at City, and they're getting paid $100,000 to sit on the bench or sit on sit on the reserve bench or whatever else. And nobody's going to. Well, who's got the money for that apart from these crazy, insane players and crazy clubs that have just got money coming out of everywhere? 115 charges, by the way. We'll talk about that in a minute. So you can't then sell them on because nobody's going to pay those wages. So they're still going to be on the wage bill of Chelsea. You can sell the player, but it's going to be like Leeds was a few, 20 years ago when they had all these players that they'd almost leased out to other teams who were still paying a rent on, and ended up going almost into bankruptcy. It's mad.
It's like Romelu Lukaku. Does everyone remember Romelu Lukaku? That guy we bought for like 90-something million. His loan is
scoring goals like crazy. Scoring for fun in Italy.
He's back on the bench. Yeah.
Yeah, and now I think Napoli want him in case we sign Osimhen.
Yeah.
But how could we possibly have the money for Victor Osimhen? But also we signed the dude for like 90-something million pounds. How is this guy just getting loaned out? Like, just what are we doing? Like, it's so frustrating. Like, I feel like there's so many signings that we're making that in and of themselves, I don't hate them. Like the Pedro Neto sign, I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. Like,
good player, nice, good. But where's he gonna go?
Dewsbury Hall, I guess. I think we maybe overpaid a little bit, especially if we're getting rid of Gallagher. I don't really get it, but like, I don't hate it, I guess is the point, right? There's a couple of signings I'm like, fine, that kind of makes sense. But also, when every single you're bringing in like 10 other players, how are you ever expecting any player to succeed in that environment? Like, it's not doable. Like, no.
Also, aren't you on your 15th coach of the last 5 years as well?
Yeah, probably. So, I
don't even know. Who is your head coach? Who is your manager now this year?
Enzo Maresca, who got Leicester promoted last season. Which
so again, you know, a whole new team, a whole new manager. It's like, and then next year, is he playing a redraft league? Is that what Todd Bowling's doing? From a fantasy football, but that's what he's doing. He's just redrafting every year, right?
I never thought I would get to a point in my life where I was like, no, I really want Poch to stay as Chelsea manager. And yet there I was fuming when the video came out that was like, they've decided to part ways. And I was like, we've literally just started to turn a corner. The squad actually looked like they're playing.
No, they were. And at the end of the season, everything was coming together.
Yeah, Mudryk started to look good. We actually had a bit of something going on. And I was like, boys, it's clicking. It's finally happened.
Here it goes.
And then that dreaded Sky Sports football tweet being like, yeah, sorry guys, he's gone as well. And I was like, I can't be bothered with this.
You know what's worse? He has an agreement to be the USA national coach.
Yeah,
it's nothing for sure. It's just agreement. That's only the first stage of it. But how crazy would that be coming from Chelsea to the USA national team? And and let's be honest. Your Chelsea women's coach, now she's
not a women's national.
Oh yeah, Emma Hayes.
She just won Olympic gold.
Been there for like a year or two, and putting that program back together. It's what if Poch does a good job like that? That just makes Chelsea look so much worse.
It's just, I mean, if they could, they are becoming the joke. But you know, because they've just got so many bodies, they'll probably be okay because some of those bodies are good. As you say, they're good footballers. They just have no system to work in and have no clear mental, you know. So anytime they do get on the pitch, either they'll have to go like, hey, this might be my only 90 minutes I get for the next 4 months. I have to show up and show out. Or they actually get minutes on the pitch and go, I've totally forgotten how to play football because I've been playing with the reserves or I've been sitting on the bench and I don't know. Oh my God, this is really quick. It's going to be, I think Chelsea could be the boom or bust this season. Of you could roll teams over 5-0, but you could also just literally look like a Sunday League team who've never played football before together and get absolutely hammered by some teams.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, never thought I would be like begging for this as much as I am, but I'm kind of just like, just hit us with a transfer ban, please. Just do it.
Just lock it down. I mean,
just save us from ourselves.
Make us these 9-year fucking contracts.
Make us just be like, right, for 2 years you cannot sign anybody. Okay, fine. Make us use this squad. Make us actually play
79 players you have on your books or whatever it is.
Make us build extra spaces in the parking lot. Like, make us do something, because it's so stupid. Like I said, it just feels like the exact opposite chat that we had about West Ham. West Ham have a plan. They've hired the coach. They know what they're doing. Got their business done. Can't. Right? West Ham is going somewhere. And obviously, you know, they lost today, but you can see there is something growth happening. Yeah. I just feel like when I look at everything that Chelsea is, I'm just like what? It's not even as if you can be like, oh well, they're just trying to run the club to make money. How could they possibly be making money? Like,
they're selling all the hotels.
Anyway, how are we all feeling good with our clubs? Because I love mine.
Boy, I'm glad we lit that touch paper. I'm so glad we lit the touch paper.
Yeah, do you know what? On second thought, actually, I do not want to do this Premier League show anymore. Have a good evening, people. I hate my team. Yeah,
Matt, well, we'll get a roulette wheel, and you can choose a new Premier League team every week, Matty.
please. Yeah.
Wow, we're going to that type of thing now.
Like be Smith's 99
coming
fan
to that.
of the week.
Wow.
Which team are we this week? Yeah, let's do it. Okay,
just let any week but Everton. Anyway,
it's
right.
Okay.
Let's dive into some of the big stories or the results from the weekend.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, United got things kicking off Friday night. Sneaked past Fulham with a late win from their new signing. Didn't look great. Did not look great. I think they are going to struggle. I don't think that team is not put together well. That team is going to struggle to get anywhere, I think.
You talking about Man United?
Yeah. Fulham look like Fulham. Fulham look like Fulham. I think they'll be mid-table. They look like what you're going to get. Unfortunately, they are still just lacking in those little bits of quality. They should have probably got a point there at least against United. But at Old Trafford, they should have seen that game out. And unfortunately, maybe just quality overcame the team. And Man United have gone out and got a few new players, but Ten Hag has come out and said that team's not anywhere near ready, which is
I think is it Polina that was at Fulham last season that Bayern Munich were trying to sign? I think obviously he's now gone. I feel like feels like a fairly big hole for Fulham. Like I think he was one of those players that he maybe didn't like catch your eye or anything, but the work
he made Fulham tick, didn't he? He was one of those so dirty working.
Well, they lost two. They lost two defenders. One went to Chelsea and one went to the MLS. So they're kind of thin right now.
Shock horror! Chelsea have stolen someone's player. Yeah, that sounds about right. But so
at least it's local.
There's definite change. But yeah, like you said, I'm not really worried about Fulham. Like I feel like Marco Silva.
They're gonna be fine.
I think he feels like a bit of an underrated manager at this point. May I say that one? I quite like Marco Silva.
I quite like him.
I think he's going to be fine. Yeah,
I think he's going to be fine. I think he's doing well. I mean, he's not had a big club. I mean, and this no disrespect to Wolves, who are absolute hues in the Midlands, and obviously Fulham's got Premier League club, but he's had that kind of managerial, hasn't he? He's knocked around in those sorts of smaller clubs, and he's done very well. What would happen if you've got a choice and got a chance at a bigger one? That would be interesting because I think he's underrated as a manager. He's a good manager. I think whether or not his tactics kind of hold up is where I think he might struggle.
Yeah, it's Fulham. Fulham's going to be Fulham. That's the thing that I just keep coming to realize because they did spend so much money on Smith Rowe. That was a big signing for them. Is he going to do well? Yeah, I think he's going to prove to people that he's back. This ain't like a Calvin Phillips type of thing. Phillips is done. No. So I think he's done. Whether he goes to Portsmouth Town, what's it called?
Ipswich, isn't he?
Ipswich. When he goes to
Ipswich.
Say the word.
That lot.
Yeah.
Tractor Boys.
Tractor Boys.
It's easier. Tractor Boys. That's their nickname. Tractor Boys. Yep.
Right. I still think he's going to be bad, but I think with Smith Rowe, I think he's coming into a great system and he does have good people around him. And I think Silva is going to go out there, the coach, to prove that he could do this because I think Fulham is the perfect squad for him. They're a middle of the table type of team that can make a splash up in the standings. They could even go down a little bit, but I still think they're going to stay right in the middle. And I think this team is going to be just like they were last year. They were a surprise. So I think Smith Rowe is going into a good situation. I still think the coaches too. I think they're going to be just fine.
Yeah, I think they'll be fine. I think they'll, as you say, they'll make some splashy wins. They'll punch above their weight,
like they always do. Yeah,
and they'll be like,
they'll have those moments.
Didn't see you. Yeah, and everyone's like, Fulham beat.
Right, and that atmosphere there is amazing. Fulham's atmosphere.
Craven Cottage it rocks. It absolutely rocks. I mean, it's one of those old grounds. It can't really get much bigger.
Facts.
So it's you're right on the pitch. It's a good place to go. So I think you're right. I think Fulham will be fine. Man United, I think, are flattering to deceive.
Really?
I don't think they're going to be. I mean, I'm hearing there, lots of people saying, they think top 4 for United.
That's what I keep hearing too. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see it. I don't think they're. I think in this league, you can't now you have to almost be on it every week. You have to be good every week if you're going to be up at the top, right? You can't just get by. Gritty wins aren't going to do it anymore. You're going to have to be a lot better, and I just don't see United being consistent enough for that. They're still too hot and cold for me. I think they play well one week, next week they're all over the place, and I think
that's been United's biggest problem for what
it's
feels like so long. There were points last season when I guess kind of like Chelsea towards the end, it was like, God, they've really got this figured out. Like, Ten Hag ball is happening, and then
the next week they would just
not
be like,
to bring up Chelsea, but then that 4-3 game that happened, that was just the most potentially mad game I have ever watched in my life. That kind of perfectly encapsulated both teams, but especially United. Like, there were some points where they were just dominating us, and I just thought, we look horrendous here. And then in the last like 5 minutes, like, it just fell apart. It was finished, and it's like, oh yeah, there they are. Like, if they could be consistent, even if it is just winning gritty, low-scoring games, like if that's who you are and you can do it well and it leads to success, then nobody will complain about it. But they're not consistent enough.
And then we jump into Saturdays. So the early kickoff, Ipswich Town back in the Premier League. Portman Road was rocking. The famous Ed Sheeran was in the stands. Well, now a part owner, apparently. I'm hearing he's kind of part owner.
He's the lead sponsor, isn't he? So
I think he's a minority
owner. Minority owner or something. Yeah. I mean, why not? He's like the most famous.
Club. Yeah, why would you not do that?
Why would you not? When you're rolling in it, he probably owns half of Suffolk by now. Anyway,
I think so. I'm convinced. No, I'm serious.
I'm convinced he's pretty much bought half the county. So why not? And as you say, boyhood hero, boyhood club. Throw some money in. Why not? Unfortunately, they came up. They've got I feel for Ipswich. They've got a horrendous first 2 weeks. Welcome to the Premier League, Ipswich Town. Home game against Liverpool. Hey, at least it was a home game. Second game, who do you think they get to play next week? Man City. I mean, ouch. Ouch. Right? Ouch.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Premier League. A good thing, get it out of the way early, I suppose, before, that's one of the ways you look at it. If they get a point out of those two games, they got to take that, right? But at least it's done and out of the way.
I don't know. I mean, they're going the EFL Cup second round and they're facing against AFC Wimbledon. Yeah, they're going to win that game, but then they got to play Fulham and Brighton back to back. No, that's hard to play against those teams right now. Southampton, you can win. Yeah, 100%. But I don't know. Guys. I don't know.
It's always one of those things with the really promoted teams. They've done what they've actually spent a lot. I think they've got quite a few players in, they haven't put them in their squad yet, which I think was interesting. I thought it was quite nice. I suppose in a way it's nice. They go, you guys got us to the Premier League. Let's see if you can handle it. And it will be interesting to see how quickly the manager starts to go, right, we need some new blood. We need some better players to plug in. So let's go out and get a guy who's not played football for 5 years and put him in our team. No, sorry, stand corrected. He did play a little bit for West Ham last season and looked shockingly bad.
Yeah, Ben Johnson and Calvin Phillips, they did not.
I mean, he needs football, he needs to play, and I get that, but my God, he looked bad when he came on your side last season, Calvin Phillips. So
it's hard it's just hard to watch because the potential was there so many times.
So many times, so wasted over there, and he was on such a high with coming out of Leeds, and then went to City and just died a death over there because just not playing competitive football. Maybe he'll get games, maybe he'll get time, maybe he'll reignite that sort of thing. But I don't think Ipswich are gonna get the ability to play the kind of football that they might need Calvin Phillips to sit there and be that quarterback sort of player for, because they're going to struggle with quality, I think. But Liverpool looked pretty compact, pretty composed. They iffy in the beginning. They could have probably gone 1-0 down, to be perfectly honest, in the first half. They weren't great. So Kwanzaa had to get, and it was interesting what Arne Slot said after the game. He kind of went, I had to take Joel Kwanzaa off because he was losing too many of the battles and we weren't controlling the game. So we had to put Konate on. And that goes back to that. The squad's okay, but just slightly thin. And, if you're not quite up to it, you could struggle. So that worries me. But, at least he made the coach was like, "No, I saw something, I don't like it, I changed it at half time." So that's promising, and not the 95th minute, as you talked about with Moyes, that used to sit and wait. So, plus points, two goals. Salah's off and running again. Now the record opening day goal scorer. I think he scored in every opening weekend for the last 9 seasons or something.
Yeah, something like that.
So, he's your guarantee. You're going to guarantee he's going to score in the first weekend. He's going to be your fantasy Premier League captain. So, off and running. 2-0 away from home, early game, get to kick back and watch the rest of the weekend. So I was quite happy with that.
I think especially when you've got a new manager, right? Like that's kind of all you can ask for. Have like a relatively drama-free first game. Ideally get the win, happy days. Clean sheet, never a bad thing. And I also think like playing a newly promoted team can be like very much a banana skin game, right? Like I remember like when they'd announced the like fixtures and stuff, I used to look at Chelsea and be like, "Oh, brilliant! We've got like Watford first of the season." Be like, "Yeah, brilliant! Like, of course we're going to win that." Or I think there was one opening day of the season, but I want to say we had Sheffield United. I think it was under like Chris Wilder's first time in charge of them when they were a genuine, like really hard to beat team. Yeah. And I remember looking at it thinking like, we're going to absolutely breeze that. And then they played Sheffield United ball and ground out that 1-0 loss. And all of a sudden that was like oh God, sky's falling in type moment for Chelsea, right? It was like, oh God. So, playing like a newly promoted team, Ipswich have nothing to lose here. No one's expecting them to beat Liverpool in this situation. So to do what Liverpool did under a new manager and just calmly kind of get it done, minimal drama, minimal fuss, I'd say that's a pretty good day at the office, right?
Yep. Yeah, but I think Ipswich might struggle with and we've all seen it. The step up in quality from the Championship to the Premier League is quite massive. So I think what Ipswich have done, have got lots of business in, lots of players, and it looked like they had a new player sitting in the stands as well last night or yesterday when they were kind of warming up and whatever else. So it looks like their business isn't done and they're strengthening. So fair play to them. I hope they do well. It's nice to have Ipswich back. It's one of those throwbacks. They used to be in the Premier League a while ago. They're one of the teams that you're like, oh, it's nice to see Ipswich again. But I don't know how long they're going to stick around. Are they just going to be an up and down team, or are there worse teams? We'll get to that in a minute, I suppose. Oh, nice little teaser.
There are definitely worse teams. Chelsea Football Club are in the Premier League.
It's like Nottingham Forest. It's like Southampton. It's like one of those teams.
Yeah, they're going to battle here. Southampton are an interesting one. We'll get to that in a minute. Arsenal beat Wolves, quite a comfortable 2-0.
Arsenal just seem to have picked up where they left off, which, considering
it's annoying.
They've come like annoyingly second, at least annoyingly from like an Arsenal perspective, but they have come frustratingly close and come second 2 years in a row, right? And I feel like there's only so long you can kind of keep bouncing back from that. But again, for like opening game of the season, 2-0 win, they looked comfortable. I'd say that's about as happy as you could be as an Arsenal fan, right? Like they just seem to have picked up where they left off. They were playing good football at the end of last season.
Good football, just picked it up.
I mean, it's not only that though. Like I feel like if we're gonna compare Man City to Arsenal, we've been doing that the last 3 years. I feel like if you're gonna talk about Arsenal this year, this is the year. Like they got a deep bench. They went out and they didn't get like some major signings, but they did make one great signing that I wanted at West Ham is that Italian kid. He could play left back. He could play
Cadelfari.
Cadelfari. Yes, and he plays center. He plays CB and he plays left B. But the thing I love about him is you can play him at left wing back, and he's still going to be great. He was one of our best players in the Euros for Italy. That's just not only a great signing. That's a signing that if their starter, it is a statement. But if their starter goes down, he could probably take it the rest of the way. But it's not going to happen because of Zinchenko, right? It's
Zinchenko and Tomasu. Is it Tomasu?
Yeah, Tomasu and Zinchenko. But this is the year. I mean, Man City's starting lineup looks good. That's it. Like their bench, they got maybe 3 players that are good on the bench, but they're not as full as what Arsenal's got. I think this is their year. This is their year. This is the year to not only
they have to push it, don't they? Yeah, they have to. They have to do it almost.
This is a Cinderella story. This is a comeback, and this is what Arteta has been talking about last 3 years. If you guys want to make a statement, if you guys want to prove everybody wrong, this is the year to do it. Like last year and the year before was always up and down. This year, you gotta win it this year, man, because the window's gonna close.
Yeah, I can't help but feel like if they don't get over the hump this year, I feel like there's going to be heads starting to turn, right? Like
firings and
Saka,
stuff.
Firings.
There's going to be like surely there's going to be players that start to look at this and think like maybe this just isn't it. Like it's just not. It's not
We're
happening.
just not going to do it. I'm not going to do it with Arsenal. But hey, look, Barcelona and Real Madrid are knocking on the door, and they're perennially winning trophies. And if I want to go win a trophy, I'll go and play in Bayern Munich, or I'll go play at Real. I'll go play over there. Yeah, I mean that's what some of the Liverpool players felt after number of times bashing, getting so close. Yes, we won trophies around it, but getting so close to the Premier League and only winning it once, it's so hard for those players to get so close. Just say 38 games in your 36 games, you're perfect. You have 2 bad games. Oh, that's it.
Yeah, that's too much to be not on it for that tiny little percentage of the season, and that is too much. Like especially when you're battling a team like City. But yeah, I think Geno's right. I think that City may have some worries this season. But anyway,
City are definitely looking over their shoulder, I think, at Arsenal, who, as you say, have just picked up. No, it's almost like they haven't had a break. They haven't had the Euros or anything in between. Everyone's just kind of back to the Arteta way and nice and smooth.
Mm-hmm.
And Sevilla got injured, and Foden had to come on. So
that's the big signing. So that was their big signing, wasn't it? To get that winger in, and he looked good in that first half. He did look good
from Verona. Yep.
Yeah, he did look good, but hopefully that injury is not too bad because he did look good, and we always want to see good players. Right. Speaking of black and white from good players, Everton looked absolutely dire. Everton look like they are in trouble already. 3-0. Brighton rolled them over. The man sent off. Ashley Young is still playing for them. He must be in a Zimmer frame by now, making a mockery of his surname because he's got to be about 90. I don't know.
I almost think the most damning thing as well is I saw a clip of it on TikTok where a reporter is like, like, Sean, are you a bit disheartened by the fact the stands were quite empty? And he's like, oh no, like it's understandable. And I thought, how bad can it actually be? And then you kind of look at it back and you're like, oh boy. And like, I'm not. Everton are about as passionate a fan base as you get, right? Like,
whether you love them or hate them.
Yeah, as much as like Liverpool,
they turn up week in, week out. Yeah.
My God, do Evertonians back their club to the hilt every time they go to Anfield as if they're going to batter Liverpool. Like, their team and their fans, they get behind their team. If even the Everton fans are starting to be
Week one,
this early into a season, and like I have faith in Sean Dyche, and if you want anyone in this kind of situation, it would be someone like a Sean Dyche. But that's a pretty tough way to start the campaign.
Yes,
especially when your star midfielder scores on opening day with a nice header with Aston Villa.
Yeah,
that's a kick in the butt.
Yeah, it's a kick. We just sold him, and he's like, "Oh, why did we do that? That's
boy."
I don't know. Yeah, and they had all that back and forth with the financial stuff last year. They've got their
That's correct.
In and out and whatever. I do think that this might be the and Everton have been the ever present in the Premier League. They've never been relegated or else somehow. This year could be a struggle for them. I think they need to watch out. And in the nicest possible way from the red side of Liverpool.
Yeah.
It's hard for me. I wouldn't like to see them relegated, to be honest, because it's that passion, that rivalry, that derby game is there. But
I get that.
Yeah, but it's
I also would love it.
Well, it's one of those things. Well,
but I also love it because hey.
Well, yeah, it's your biggest rival. That's how I feel about Chelsea and Arsenal. So we're good. Here's the thing about them. They have 5 to 6 players that have been on their team for more than a decade or almost to a decade. I'm talking Pickford, Michael Keane, Holgate, Calvert-Lewin. Ashley Young has been back and forth, but they still got Seamus Coleman.
Seamus Coleman's still there.
Seamus Coleman is the captain there. He's still the captain.
Good Lord.
They still have a few players that have been so damn loyal.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not. It's either that or nobody wants them.
That's true. Yeah.
Calvert-Lewin, I think he missed a trick last season. He probably should have gone in the January transfer window last year.
They should have cashed in on Calvert-Lewin after the Carlo Ancelotti season when he
when he was scoring goals for fun. He looked like
they could have got
like
so much money for him then, and they kept him. And now it's like, oh no, it was just Carlo Ancelotti making him look like a baller. Oh boy.
Yeah. Oh, this is the Calvert-Lewin that everyone else has seen. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I do have concerns that Everton are going to be battling from the bottom upwards.
Duquesne, their midfielder, has had some up and downs. They got Jack Harrison. It's like their lineup doesn't look that bad. It's just they just can't bring it together. Yeah, no one really wants them. It's just their bench is a little light, but like their starting lineup, they can compete. I mean, they just picked up Jack O'Brien, so like
they're all gritty. They're all players that will do really well in the championship.
Facts.
Right?
No, you're right though. I think so. Pickford needs a lead though. If you're the number one player, number one goalie though, you know what I mean?
Not, he shouldn't be. But anyway.
Oh, you don't think so? Not anymore?
No, Nick Pope should be a number one keeper.
That's true. Newcastle, yeah. I'm with you on that one. But still though, that still kind of looks bad on him though, wouldn't it be or no?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ironically would have him as Chelsea's 9th keeper, but that's a different thing entirely.
We wouldn't have sleeves long short enough to anyway.
Yeah, Everton is certainly a weird one. I just feel like they've kind of become what like Wigan used to be like years ago, where every year like they're going down, they're finished, and then every day on the last day of the season, Roberto Martinez will be stood there looking like an absolute genius,
pulling off some sort of magical 16th. Yeah,
he's done it again. Yeah, I'm scared of them, but also I don't want them to go down. They feel like it would be wrong not having them there. And I totally get that rivalry thing as well, right? Yeah, like with an absolute passion, I detest teams like Arsenal and Spurs. But also, if they weren't there for me to hate, I would miss it, right? Like I need that anger in my heart. I mean, to be fair, I have enough of it towards my own team right now, but you need that you need that rivalry, right? You need the bad guy. So yeah, I would very much like Everton step, but it's a worrying first game.
Yeah, very worrying. Speaking of Newcastle, you just talked about Nick Pope and them doing reasonably well. They got a gritty win, considering they went down to 10 men. They still managed to see off Southampton.
What do you guys think about the red card? Actually, that feels like a big talking point. Sorry, yes, carry on. What do you think?
No. I think we might as well delve into it. Refereeing this weekend has not been great.
Yeah, it's been an odd opening weekend. There's been a lot of interesting points.
There's been a lot of interesting points that came out of the first weekend. Was it a red card?
In my personal opinion, no. I think it should have been a yellow card. In my personal opinion,
I understand it being a red.
Yeah,
right.
But I think that shove from Brereton Diaz to send Cher down in the first place, where he gets back up and is a bit frustrated, I would also look at that and be like,
if the ref had called that, then maybe this hadn't.
Also, doesn't seem ideal. Like maybe it's just like a yellow card for both and move on kind of jobby, rather than
exactly. That's exactly what I was I want to say with you.
Even that second bit, they've clearly both gone in for it, right? Brereton Diaz has just leapt like a salmon down to the floor. And therefore, ref's been like, he gone. But yeah,
he gone.
Right. Yeah, no, you're not wrong. 2 yellows and move on. This should have been. That's what it should have been.
Should have been like, behave yourself, boys. Come on.
Yeah, maybe not even a yellow. Maybe just like a right, boys, come on, pack it in. Do that again. Right. Sort it out. That's my personal opinion. But I'm also then quite happy that Newcastle still managed to win despite said red card. I'm like, yeah, fair.
I agree with you, man. Yeah.
I think, as you say, Newcastle deserved to win. Brereton Diaz certainly sold the red card. Was there enough contact for him to go down? Oh, for
sure.
I mean, but any other player would have done the same thing. If that, in an altercation and a stand up like that, and the other player moves their head towards them,
Right.
You're asking for trouble.
You're asking for trouble. You're asking for the referee to make that decision. So
it's like when any player leaves the ground.
For sure.
God.
Oh, God. The referee's got a decision to make. Why have you done that? You've put yourself in a position to
stay on your feet. Stay on your feet. Don't do anything stupid. I know it looks cool if it pays
your head
off,
forward.
Oh boy.
Because, if
but
you nudge your head forward, the ref's going to do it. So they get a win. They get out of there. I think Newcastle might be on the bounce back kind of season. I think they found last season a struggle with Europe and everything else. So I think they might be slightly more consistent this year. I don't know. I'm guessing you don't feel the same though, G.
This is where they become a middle team, and then this is the downfall of Newcastle after everything with the financial. When their two people sold their rights, I think it started with them, especially when you have Joel Lipton playing consistently. Oh, it's trouble starting from there. They are going to get Tonali back. He'll be coming back at the end of August. That is very good for them. I definitely see that, but I just can't take this team seriously. I just can't.
They didn't really do much in the transfers either, have they?
They honestly, I'm looking at their lineup and I'm like, what's different? I don't see anything.
I can't remember a signing or a.
I don't, but I'm looking at it right now. I don't see anything new. Maybe there's maybe
one
or
Isak,
two people.
It's still all the same.
No, Isak was there last year. So
I'm just thinking Isak, Guimaraes, they're all the same. There's no new.
And
players,
Gordon and Trippier was supposed to be gone this summer. So but they're back. So I just don't have. And I talked to a Newcastle fan at the bar that I watch a lot of soccer with a fan club, St. Louis Hammers. Shout out to them. But she even said, I hope we bounce back this year, but it also could be a long one. So it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of mixed
it's a bit like that Liverpool. They could be okay, or they could, because they've got nobody new and nobody fresh, they might be a little bit under the.
I feel like this is where I would throw my hat in the ring, right? Like I think we said earlier that like Chelsea could be a bit of a boom or bust season. I think this is a very big season for Newcastle. I think last year, league table wise, it feels like the club was a bit like underwhelmed and maybe underestimated how much stuff like Champions League football would affect a team and stuff. And maybe a bit too early of a prediction. But I think if this season doesn't go well and the project does not look like it's progressing as they want, I think Eddie Howe might be in trouble this season. I'm just gonna sprinkle that one out there because I think
I 100% agree, Matty.
I think he'd been doing really well. They'd been building the squad well, and I think maybe of all the good things he's done, maybe that what's the word? That leash might have just tightened a little bit after last season did not go. They started well in the Champions League group and then kind of fell away. And to be fair, their group was horrific.
They had a hideous group, didn't they? I mean, group of death, literally.
That was one of their new ones. They got a new goalkeeper
and backup keeper because Big Pope's your clear number one there. So he's obviously just there to play cup games and keep the bench warm and back up.
But I think they could be an interesting one to watch. Like they've definitely got the team for it, and they've proved that they can do it. But yeah, like you said, the window's been quiet, which again I know that's an FFP thing, right? They've obviously spent a lot, but unlike Chelsea, they've spent very well. They've actually signed good pieces and genuinely built a functioning football team. But obviously now that spending has eventually
curtailed a bit, hasn't it? Yeah.
So if this year is maybe we're not making any landmark signings, but we just mildly improving the league a bit more. Maybe they are pushing that, 4th, 5th, 6th kind of spot, I guess. Maybe that would be something they'd be happy with. I think if they finish similarly to last year or potentially even worse, I think questions might start be getting asked. Yeah,
I think I think it would be interesting if they get Europe but not Champions League. I think that's probably a good bounce back and back.
I would say so. I
think maybe they hit Champions League, that might have been for that club and that rebuild and that whole transition that they were, getting rid of Ashley and getting the new guys in. I think Champions League that year was probably a year way too early for them.
A year too soon, yeah.
They needed ready for it.
They needed like a consolidation year of maybe a slightly easier competition. Or well, I say quote unquote easier. Like, obviously, European football is never easy, but a more manageable competition. Like we said, that group they were put in was about as bad a group as you could possibly ask for.
Welcome back to Champions League football. We're going to put you into a group with
that's pretty savage.
It was pretty harsh. I think Newcastle will be all right. Southampton, again, I think they've got enough pieces to be. I think Southampton are targeting 16th, right? I mean, like any team that comes up, if they target 16th, anything above that is a bonus for them. So that will do. Hang on, 17th actually, 18, 19, 17th. They're going to be targeting 16th, will be even better. But yeah, one step above the relegation places will be enough for Southampton. They need to consolidate and stay in the Premier League. That's all they've got to be looking for. Shame they didn't get the win, because obviously having the boost with only 10 men, they should have probably taken advantage. They might not get a better chance early on in the season. But I guess we'll play it and see what happens there. I think Diaz might be an interesting signing for them. I know he scored a bunch of goals for Blackburn before going off to Spain and now coming back again. So it'll be interesting to see if he takes a step up. It'll be interesting to watch Southampton.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Like you said, it's just newly promoted team. I think they'll just want to be across the line as soon as possible. But I think it might be some tough sledding.
And it's that I'll get to 40 points of what it used to be. I don't even think it'll be 40 points anymore.
I was going to say, I don't think it's as high as it used to be. But yeah, it's just, a first day loss is not ideal, but Newcastle are a good team. So it's not as if you're thinking, that we needed to win that.
We needed to win. But speaking of first day, newly promoted teams,
they're going back down, in my personal
opinion. Yeah. Way too early for that. Yeah, we're going to get to that in a minute. Right. Forest Bournemouth. An early relegation 6-pointer, or is it both teams happy with the point there? I'm just throwing it out there.
Bournemouth were a bit sneaky tasty last year, I think.
No, I think they're just getting started. I don't know.
Selling Solanke seems a big hole for them now.
Yeah, but imagine what they could do with that money in January. Even
this
now.
Is true. If they are
even now. Like
they have to spend it now.
Weeks left. I don't know.
I think they have to spend it now. They can't wait till January, because by then they could be cut adrift. I think they have to use that money pretty quickly to get a striker in, because I don't think they've got any backup there. So.
I mean, he didn't want to stay anyway, so why would they cashed in on him? Good for them,
Yeah, good for Liverpool as well.
Good move. I guess it's just worrying about that has to be money well spent. Like, obviously that's you said, that's a big hole for them. So you need to make sure, kind of like, I always look at things like this as when like Spurs sold Bale, and you're like, they've got so much money for him, there is literally no way they possibly misspend this. And then all of the people they bring in, you're like, oh God, they really.
And you look back at that, and you think,
boy,
who was the best out of the bunch? Lo Celso, possibly.
I just feel like I just have images of like Roberto Soldado being like, oh God, this, my God, this is what we use the money on. Oh boy. So yeah, with that amount of money, you'd imagine they're in with a pretty good chance of being able to recruit a replacement. But yeah, it'll have to be money wisely spent, because I know Bournemouth have had some new backing come in recently, right? Michael B. Jordan is now quite heavily involved
from Porto. He's there now.
Nice. But yeah, we'll see. I don't care about these two clubs. That sounds really harsh, but I feel like these are two clubs I don't really have that much of an opinion on. Like, I know Forest are a very big club. Bournemouth just kind of there. Like, yeah, I'm sorry, this sounds really mean to any one of these two fan bases. But just know that I genuinely do not care. No, I'm sorry, that's really harsh.
Pick one, Matty. You don't know what to do in this situation. Just pick one.
Yeah, jokes on all of you. I'm a Forest fan next week.
Really? Yeah. Next week, the Wheel of Fortune will get you.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to play it off as if I don't care, but I'm actually very emotionally heavily invested in both of these teams. So 1-1 draw was perfect for me. Yeah, this is good.
And then
today, Matty.
Here we go. So, and then they had obviously the evening game that obviously you were tuning into. First sort of challenge for the new West Ham regime against a pretty good Aston Villa team.
That's a tough first game, to be fair.
It was a tough first game to put together. I mean, I think the best thing that you could say, you were competitive, kind of hung in there. Yeah. You weren't kind of blown out, because I think last season, the way Villa were playing and the way West Ham were playing, I easily had that pegged as an Aston Villa win. This time it was like, I don't know. This could be a draw. This could be a West Ham win. at least you were in the mix. So,
right.
Especially considering you went behind, literally, it felt like the first attack of the game, you were, 1-0 down. The fact you kind of stuck at it and, got back into it.
I mean, it was one of those things where Aston Villa is a top 7 team. I think we can all agree on that. Emery is doing a fantastic job. He has been doing a fantastic job with this team, not only recruiting some of the best talent, but then you go and get Everton's best midfielder, and he scores a goal off a set piece, which Antonio did fail us on because
big time.
It was Ariel was supposed to do. Like it's when that's the guy needs to go next is Antonio, but he's not. But the thing is about this game is our players aren't fit yet. And you had 2 guys that were scratched that could have played as well, that were like a healthy scratch. One was one of your big signings from Brazil, and then the other one is a defender. Now I know you're packed now. It's obvious that we have a plan, but West Ham did overspend. So now you just got to put it all together. And this game's a very hard game. And if we would have won, it would have been a statement game. It would have been a statement game immediately. But I thought we were going to lose at least 3-1. And because Aston Villa they're a great team. They're flying. They've been flying all preseason. Everything has come together, picking up where they left off last year. So it would have been a hard game for a first game for Lopetegui with us. But I still think, we're just not fit. And I think we're going to come together and it will be fine. Paquetá is going to be our most creative midfielder now. Kudos is going to be kudos.
It looks like he's going to get
he's a warrior. He's like Traore. He's like Traore with Fulham, like the big guy that's going to take down anybody. So,
you've got some pieces. The pieces are there.
For sure.
They just need to get fitter and work together. So, I think the fact you were in it and it wasn't a blowout. It wasn't like 3-0 and you got a consolation last minute or something. So it made it look better or anything like that. It was a good competitive game. So it's a good standard to kind of go, okay, that's where we are now.
Right.
We've got a few weeks of, getting up to speed. We're still just out of preseason. It's still early days. Let's see where you get to the end of August. Maybe there's a few other bodies to come in. Who knows? But not the worst start for you guys, I think.
For sure.
On a very tough game to start off with.
I think
today,
it's two exciting teams, right? Like West Ham, I'm excited for them. I think,
and you were excited about watching West Ham. That's the thing. Whereas last season, you're like, oh.
I think Villa.
Some of them
this is just a season for them to try and not fall into the Newcastle trap of last season. Like they've got Champions League.
Yeah.
This campaign might be a tough road if they can still stay in that top 5-6, which I genuinely do not doubt they can. I think Emery is such a. I don't even know if he is underrated anymore. I think people are finally coming around to that. Like, do you know what? This guy knows
what he's doing.
So 2 exciting teams. Not like I said, not the worst result for West Ham. Good start for Villa. I think these teams are both going to be cool to keep an eye on.
Yeah. And then today, London derbies kicked off. So one London derby, Brentford, Crystal Palace.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting start to this game. I don't know if you caught it. The Crystal Palace free kick goal that never was. Shocking refereeing decision.
Yeah.
SA what was it? Free kick just on the edge of the box, right out, 18, 20 yards away, fakes everybody out, curls it in off the post, and the referee blows his whistle for a trip. Players coming together on the edge of the box, literally almost 18 yards away from where the ball was. The goalkeeper nowhere near it. It was like, what's gone on there? And then
really refereeing strikes again.
Oh, shockingly bad. And then literally Brentford go up the other end, and 2 minutes later and score a good goal themselves. So it was an interesting game, scrappy at times. Two London teams that didn't really want to give way to each other. Brentford getting the win at the end. I think Brentford just had a little bit more quality over the Crystal Palace team. I think Palace are still missing Elise. I think that's a big hole for them.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to struggle without his creativity. Eze looked really good. Edouard came on and looked cumbersome, I think.
Yeah, especially with all the stuff surrounding Tony right now. Him going probably to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Brentford and Crystal Palace are just going to be one of those teams where they're going to be low again this year. That's just they're going to be at the bottom 8. You don't know what they're going to do. I just think they're middle of the bottom.
Yeah, middle of the bottom.
Both of them.
Brentford, both of them going to be down there, but Brentford at home are always going to be a struggle. Brentford at home play, it's a tough place to go. Brentford is a small stadium, get on top of you. So I think, they'll be okay from their home form. Their away form might be a bit patchy. And I think you can say that probably is same for both of those teams. Their home form is going to keep them in the league, but their away form is going to be a bit patchy, and they might get the odd away win, but can't see it. And then the game in the afternoon, game of the weekend, one could say, that everyone was writing up. That was going to be a barnstorming, cracking game like last season's 4-4 thriller, turned into quite a procession for the team in Sky Blue, I would suggest.
Yeah, I mean, there was some positives to take from the game. I thought Lavia looked very.
Your new kit looked nice.
No, it doesn't, Gary. Don't do this to me. Do not. I have had this debate with numerous people. I hate it so much. Oh my god! Don't.
Somebody's just thrown a paint bucket at a wall and gone, yeah, that'll do.
It was like what's like the 3 2 years ago with the 3 on the side.
Giant sponsor in the middle
They're
of it.
like,
This one's just like
every single one has unique ripples, and I'm like, that's kind of cool. But the point of a football kit is that everyone is wearing the same item of clothing. You donkey! What are you doing? Anyway,
and you look like your team looked like they're running around in ice cream wrappers.
Yes, mate, it's shambles. Yeah, I thought Lavia looked pretty good, considering he literally wasn't on the pitch last season because he was injured the whole thing.
It was an 18-year-old that came on who looked like 97. Hughes or something?
This is the worst. I don't even know. I don't know.
Where did he come from?
I don't know this squad, mate. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie to
you. I don't know who this team is.
Yeah, we looked.
I don't recognise this team.
Nicholas Jackson scored a goal that's given for offside. In other news, water is wet. And yeah, we lost 2-0, but I think I was expecting us to lose anyway. So whatever.
You're not really buying into this.
Honestly, ask me for analysis on any other game and I will do my best. Ask me for analysis on Chelsea. I do not care. We have lost. Move on. Bring on the other 37 L's this season. Send us down. Relegate us to League 2. For the kit alone, I don't care.
I'm so glad I mentioned the kit. I'm so glad I mentioned the kit.
Just as if it couldn't get any worse. I knew we were going to be like mid-table this season. Then you look at that and you're like, oh, we deserve it.
Right.
Just send us down. I don't care.
Right.
Yeah, I do think Chelsea will be, if they are above 14th.
I'll take it, mate. Honestly, if you offer me 14th right now, lovely.
Right.
Transition year, whatever you want to call it. Trying to work out what is your best 11 out of your 179 players. You shuffle the deck each week and just go, You're going to be no consistency. There's going to be no sort of team building because they're all going to be like, who am I playing next to? Who's my defensive partner next week? Who's the guy outside of me? Got no idea. Different keeper probably, as you say. You've got so many of them, you can just rotate them for a half each maybe. It's just insane. I don't know what's going to happen there.
Your guess is as good as everybody else.
Literally, I would challenge you to find anyone that is like, I know what Chelsea are going to be this season. You don't. Even if you're saying you do, you don't. All right, back it in.
Even if you tell Bowley or whoever your new manager is, who named Maresca.
Fair. But that's what I'm doing. I'm like, should we back Maresca? Probably not. It'll be gone in a year. There's no.
It'll be gone by January anyway, right? And
maybe. I don't know.
I hope not. I really do.
Yeah,
I'm so sick of getting attached to managers and them just leaving me. I can't do this anymore. I have trust issues, Geno.
Shit, I've been a West Ham fan my whole life. I understand.
We can't all have Jurgen Klopps who stay for like 10 years, 9 years. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, it's like being a Packer fan. They're just so lucky. Get the same damn quarterback they got 3 quarterbacks in recent history, and they're going to be fine.
It's
so dumb.
It's so dumb. Not that I'm saying it's unfair being a Chelsea fan. I would just like to clarify that I'm fully aware I have been an absolute spoilt child my entire life. You are now coming to bite me in the punani. All right, I know this. Okay, I know. All right, I don't want to hear it. I know.
It's true.
All right?
Yeah, we know.
But now that it's not going well, am I going to cry about it? Absolutely. Right.
Absolutely. From the rooftops. Loud and proud.
Yeah, too right. I am a spoilt baby, and I know that.
No. But yeah, I think Chelsea, I don't know what they're going to do. They are completely hit or miss. They could be, and as you say, that manager just literally has to get on his roller desk and just spin it every sort of Tuesday to go, what's the lineup this week? Oh, there you go, that one.
Right.
Here's your new office. Here is your 600 players. Don't get too comfy.
Don't get too comfy. You're in it. You're a 6-month sort of lease on that one. You'll be out the door in the end of January if you're not doing really well.
5-year contract with 1-year probation period. Yeah, have fun.
I mean, yeah. Sit on a beach somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Raking it in for the next 4 years when you get sacked off.
Literally, have a nice year, then enjoy your nice paycheck at the end of it. When we inevitably have to pay you off because
we've given you a stupid contract, and here's 60 million to not coach us for the next 4 years or something.
This is amazing. Now, this has absolutely been the Chelsea bashing I've needed. Right. Anyway, yes, the one game that has not happened this week.
Now,
hang on. Got some.
Oh man, I'm gonna start this off. Can I start talking about the next game?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right.
Go.
Listen, I think this is a Steve Cooper and Jamie Vardy revenge tour.
Oh!
I think Vardy.
Hang on. Where did Harry Winks go? Didn't Harry Winks go?
Harry Winks is at Leicester,
well?
Yeah, is he?
Is he still?
Yeah, he's still there.
That's a top.
Yeah, because they kept saying how much of he felt like a cheat code in the championship. Yeah, he is a
cheat code in the championship. You see how much he played great?
Way too good to be in the championship, which it'll be
to be fair, a lot of these players on Leicester are too good to be in the championship. I mean,
for a championship squad, their squad was a bit mad. Yeah,
the fact they kept them, that was it, wasn't it? It was pretty much their Premier League squad, and they managed to keep pretty much all of them. I think they
pretty much, a little bit, yeah.
But
I don't think they're gonna. I think they're gonna be. Don't worry. I think they're gonna be in the bottom of the league, but I still think I have faith more than Leicester City than a lot of teams this season in general. I think Steve Cooper is perfect for the system. I think he's perfect for Leicester. I think Vardy he's not going to be like your 50 goal scorer every year, the 20 maybe, but I still think he's still got something left. I mean, he bleeds.
He's still got the pace, right? He's still got the pace.
He still scores goals. So
and he still terrifies defenders with his pace.
For sure.
Even if he might not be as quick as he used to be, and defenders know about him now, right?
Yeah,
but
I still think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be okay.
Counter that, defenders that might go, oh, it's Jamie Vardy. We know he's fast. We know but you still then have to go. He's fast. Therefore, we have to play that, even if he doesn't score, even if he's just used as a decoy and he gives the space for everyone else. And he will, as you say, he bleeds Leicester. He runs for days.
Right, for sure.
I think they'll be fine. I don't envision Leicester being in that bottom 3 battle.
I don't
see them being higher than maybe 12th.
I agree.
11th.
I think they're 12th or down. 12th or down.
They'll absolutely take that now. You give that to Leicester now, they'll bite your hand off for that.
Now Spurs.
Leicester will be higher than Chelsea.
Now Spurs, though. Spurs are going to Spurs anything, man. I just don't.
Matty, you might as well support Spurs. They're the Chargers of the Premier League.
You want to support Spurs?
He's just frozen. He's just like. There are limits. I suppose there are limits, right, Matty?
Oh yeah, there's always limits. Listen, Spurs always has a good roster. I think if anybody's gonna do it, it's gonna be Ant. I love Ant as a coach.
Love Ant. And I hate that I get to say that, but I love that guy.
No. I've loved him for years. He did great in Asia. He did great in Asia, and I think he's done well here. But it's like Chelsea. Who are you gonna start? Put a bowling ball in there and pick one. They always got a good lineup, but can they?
They still haven't replaced Kane yet, though, have they? That's the thing. Kane's gone, and who's their main striker?
Well, I guess that's where
Solanke's son. Yeah. Now they got Dominic Solanke, so
that might be interesting because Solanke's very much in that Kane-esque kind of mold, isn't he? Of a big number 9, which they kind of missed once Kane left. So it'd be interesting to see how he plugs in.
I think Tottenham's going to be top 10. Top 12 team still, but I just don't think they're going to get to where they're, because it's just everything is Tottenham is like Chelsea have done. They spend so big. They have all of these players and still nothing happens. It stinks. I actually think Tottenham has a good lineup. it's just they just can't get past it, man. And I love their coach, but they just can't get past it. They really can't.
Can't get out of their own way sometimes, can they?
It is.
Yeah, I think if Ange shows a bit more adaptability than maybe he did last season, and I know
he was a bit stuck
I know
in,
that's the
determined to
narrative,
play his
and
way, wasn't it?
to be fair, in a way, I kind of rated it. Like, it's why I quite liked when like Bielsa was manager at Leeds, like, and it was all going a bit wrong, and he was like,
Yeah.
Well, I'm not changing what I'm doing. And I'm like, in a way, you kind of have to be like, do you know what, fair? Like, you've
Fair,
got, you know,
this is your team. This is what you want to do.
It's got you where you are. Who am I to argue with what you've done? Like, I know nothing. Who am I? I'm just a dude.
Right.
But yeah, if he can be a bit more adaptable, I still think Tottenham can have a pretty good season. I think depending on Solanke, I think that could be an interesting one. If it works, I think that's a good signing. But then also,
right.
I know he was really good last season, to his credit, and I think he was maybe one of those players for me that went a bit under the radar just how much he was doing for a Bournemouth team.
Team that weren't setting the world alight, but he was.
I think if he can translate that to Tottenham, I think he could be a very shrewd signing for them. Yeah, I think Leicester will be pretty good. This could be a bit of a banana skin game for Tottenham, to be fair. I think they've got what you need from a team
Leicester as well. We know Filbert Street, whatever it's called.
Yeah,
Leicester.
King Power.
They're going to be
King Power. Yeah,
King Power Stadium. Well, yes, now it's called King Power. It used to be called, whatever it was.
But yeah, they've got, like we said, they've got experience, which for a team coming up from the Championship is huge. They've got Vardy, who's got a lot more experience than a lot more people, and even someone like Harry Winks. Obviously, he has played in that Tottenham setup, that system. He knows the team.
Yeah.
I guess the only worry would be is I don't know where Enzo Maresca has chosen to go and find employment, but obviously he's not there anymore. So after getting them up from the Championship, they have changed managers, which is big. Again, no idea what Maresca is doing. He's probably
where's he gone? Has he gone somewhere? He doesn't
even
know where he is yet,
doesn't he? Actually, yeah.
What talking about?
He's planning. He's
the new Chelsea manager, Geno. Yeah. Right, I don't want to talk about him anymore.
That's like 20 seconds ago.
He came from Leicester, Geno. I'm not talking about.
I know, but that's so 20 seconds ago.
I know, but that would be my only worry, right? Is like they haven't kept the entire cast of who got them up, right? Like Dewsbury Hall, who's also gone somewhere. I don't know. He's gone. The manager's gone. So that's a fair amount of change.
Just had a quick look at the team news. Not good.
Skip.
Leicester will be without Jamie Vardy for a little while.
Oh shit!
And fellow striker Patson Daka for a few months.
Who have they even got up front other than those two?
And they've also Connor Cody is out for the first month.
Oh my gosh. Okay, never mind. Tottenham's gonna walk all over them.
Tottenham might win this.
Tottenham's gonna walk all over them. Never mind. I take everything back.
Yeah, that.
Oh god,
that's tough. That's a tough break for Leicester.
That's a tough break. I mean, we just sung the praises of Jamie Vardy. Is going to be a pain in the backside for Premier League.
Bobby from Fulham, you're going to have to step up big time, bro. Mr. Reed, you're going to have to step up, buddy.
Reed, is that? Ooh. That's a toughie. Well, hang on, haven't they also got that guy up front for Leicester who was always almost a good player? He's always almost.
Oh yeah, he came from Man City and now he went to Leicester. Nah, he's gone.
Indeed, was it Ndidi? No, I can't remember.
No.
Anyway,
well, Ndidi is still there.
You're
talking about. Oh my gosh, I know you're talking about.
Oh, it's going to annoy me now.
Kelechi Iheanacho.
Yeah, Iheanacho, that's the one.
He's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Always felt like he was going to be.
He's always the nearly guy, right?
Yeah, he was always like the. Oh, you got to be quicker than that. You got to be quicker than that.
It was like ridiculous.
Yeah,
but then
you always missed the sitter, didn't he?
Type of people, you'd be like, you kind of expect it, and then he went to Leicester and just never really kicked on, did he?
Right.
Anyway, but yeah, unfortunately, Leicester might struggle there with those players being out.
Yeah, that's some tough injuries for them. That's some big misses.
Yeah. So that's the first weekend of the football season for the Premier League. Round up. Loved breaking it down with you boys. Really missed this.
Oh man, me too. This has been unreal.
I tell you what we're going to do now. So what we're going to do now, way too early. First weekend.
Oh, wow.
Whoa, Matty's just gone blurry. What's he just done?
My camera just decided not to focus for a minute.
Yeah, it's because you saw 2 early predictions. You were like, run away from there.
I was like, oh boy, my prediction game is not strong. If anyone has watched
Charger's going to charge. Here we go.
Right.
Matty's going to charge. Here we go. Right, top 4. Just top 4 for now, because otherwise we can sit here and we could spend hours going through every
right. Boys,
position.
give me your top 20. Let's go. Yeah.
Let's go 1 to 20. Who's going to go down? Who's going to go up? Right, who's going to win? Who's going to be champion?
You want me to go first? Or you want to go first, Matty?
Chelsea. No, yeah, go on, mate. Go for it.
All right, these are my top 4. I really do think that this is the type of league where you see the momentum building up, everything between these two teams. It's going to be Arsenal. I think Arsenal, this is their time. I think they're going to win the league. I think this is their time. Last year, the year before, their owner won the whole thing with their basketball with the Colorado team.
Yep.
Last year they did pretty good. Everyone did pretty good. It just keeps going. I think Arsenal, this is their time. I think they got the team. So they're 1. Man City's 2. I still think Liverpool are going to be number 3. I still think they got the team. It just needs to come together. And my 4, this might be a little controversial, but I'm going to say it.
Homerism going in here? It's coming
No.
in.
I think Aston Villa are going to be number 4.
I thought you were going to name a team in claret and blue, but it was not.
I did think he was going claret and blue there.
No, I think West Ham are going to be 5 or 6. I really do think
that's valid. I think you've got a good coach.
Europa League or Conference League. I really do think that's the goal. I think that's the goal.
Matty, who you got number 1? Who's winning it all?
I can't bring myself to say it. Yeah, City, you're going to win it. I'm going to go. I can't predict Arsenal to win the league. I can't do it. It'd make me cry.
Make everybody cry, but I think it's brewing.
Yeah, but I feel like I've thought that for the last 2 years and been like, it's fine.
I understand that.
And it's just not happened. I just feel like
I get that.
Arteta is just not going to get the better of Pep and his shiny head. I just don't think it's going to happen. Then I will put Arsenal second again. I think they're going to be good again. The annoying thing is I feel like 3 and 4. I agree with you, Geno, but I feel like I want to be different. I feel like I need.
Oh, that's fine.
I need something. Let's do it. 3rd, Villa.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. All right.
See, I don't know how much I necessarily believe this, but I feel like why not? Let's go for it. This can't surely come back to bite me in the bum. 4th, Tottenham.
Whoa! Okay.
Okay, we won't be clipping that and putting that as a short at all.
5th, Chelsea.
Oh, he's going. Now you're just getting really silly.
Somewhere between 5th and 15th, Chelsea Football Club.
Somewhere in there.
All right. Okay, now let's do bottom 3.
Wait, Gary. Do you?
Sorry. After Gary. I'm sorry.
Gary's not.
I'm so sorry.
I just like the host in the corner.
Gary, you just ask questions, mate. We're the entertainment.
Right. Amen. I love you, buddy.
Okay, so Premier League's going to be red this season, and it's going to be the team from North London. Unfortunately, I think Arsenal. I think you're right. I think they're going to take it this year. They're going to give City the run for their money.
Yeah.
No. Manchester United are finally doing it again.
Liverpool are coming second.
Oh,
wow! Keep with me here.
We got a swing.
Keep with me here. Tottenham are 3rd, and Villa are 4th.
Where the hell's Man City? What?
Gareth.
115 charges, Geno. 115 charges.
I get it. But I mean, Chelsea should have done the same thing. So,
well, you look at what they did to Everton. You look at what they did to Forest. They have to do something to Man City.
Conference North title, Manchester City.
They have to do something to City. So if
that's true. That's true. Right,
I'm calling it. If they actually get slapped with any sort of points deduction, and in this league, as we've just talked about, a points deduction is going to kill you. I see, and it should be with that amount of charges and whatever else, they should be hammered by quite a serious extent to put them out of the race for the championship. That's my opinion. That's my thought. I may be completely wrong, and I should imagine we'll definitely snip that top 4 and bring that up.
Fair play, though.
I was going to say, I guess you just have to worry about how they're going to officiate it, right? If their punishment remains, consistent, you are absolutely bang on the money. If they somehow change the rules to favor the rich kids, which, let's be honest, the Premier League and governing bodies have definitely done before.
They have history of that. They've got history.
Then I could absolutely see, them just like storming the league and being like, ha ha ha. But yeah, I had not thought of this.
No, that's true. That's true. But
if with the 2 million points deduction, they still win the league,
they get 60 points deductions and still win the league. Then
absolutely walk it. Yeah, what
the rest of them are doing? Bottom 3. You want to do bottom 3 before we wrap it up for tonight?
Facts. Let's do it. All right, here we go.
Right, Geno, who you got going down? Who's in last place? Who's in 20th?
Everton. Gotta be.
Oh, he's putting bottom.
Gotta be.
Yep.
Yeah, this is their time. I'm sorry, Everton. Your fan base is great. 19th. It's definitely, in my personal opinion, I know a lot of people don't really agree, but I think it's going to be Southampton.
Okay.
And then 18th. Ipswich Town.
Okay.
I think they're gonna give it a nice little ride, like Nottingham Forest have done, like Leicester have done, like Brentford have done. I think they're gonna stay relevant for a little bit, but I think because their first year at any Premier League, it's either gonna be up or down. I think this is gonna be a little bit up, and then it'll come down. So I think those are my bottom 3. And I think Leicester stays up. Nottingham Forest stays up. So those are my bottom 3, fellas.
All right, then. Matty, who you got?
Okay. Bottom. I am gonna go Southampton. I feel a bit bad about that one, but
that's cool.
Somebody's got to be down there.
Yeah, I'm going for it. 19th. I don't.
Just say it.
I just don't trust Nuno Espirito Santo. I think Forest are finishing 19th.
Okay.
I don't trust Nuno, which feels a bit bad.
Considering that guy, what are you doing?
I don't know.
I get it.
I am going to put Leicester down there because I believe there's rumblings of them also being in line for a points deduction due to financial
FPRs.
And I feel like for a freshly promoted team, like, if obviously Everton have like struggled with points deductions, right? I can't imagine if you're a freshly promoted team and get that could cause a very big problem. Again, it might not happen. I know it's just like, it's not confirmed, but I feel like they might be in that battle anyway. And then if they get hit with a points deduction, that's going to be a tough
Could be a kick in the teeth. Could be a kick in the teeth. Yeah.
I think Ipswich are going to stay up just because I think for every like step of their journey recently, they've been looked at as like, they're not going to do that. Like when they had that blistering start in the championship, everyone was like, they're not going to keep this up.
It'll fall away. It'll fall away. Yeah.
Like almost like when Leicester won the title, right? It was like there's no way this isn't happening. Like this is not happening, right? And it did. So I mean they might be down there. They might be like there or thereabouts. But I kind of feel like they got quite a plucky team. I feel like if a team could survive the drop, I feel like they might do this.
Okay. Well, it's like when I think of them, I think of Wrexham. I think they're kind of like that Cinderella story that people don't think about. But once they get to the big level, what are they either going to do? Are they going to keep getting higher and keep getting better? Or is it all going to come down? And I think that's exactly where they're at. They're on a high right now. They got some good signings coming in, but Wrexham has kept going and going and going. When is their time going to come down? And it's the same thing.
When did they hit that ceiling? Yeah.
This team is the exact same thing. When is it going to come down? I don't know.
Right.
Could be totally wrong too, though. Who knows?
It's way too early to say. That's why we love these predictions. All right. Mind.
Everton, Gary, let's go.
Everton dead last. I'm the same. I feel they're going to go dead last. Bournemouth are 19th, and I got Southampton in 18th. So both of the South Coast teams don't make it for the second. They go up and they go down again. I think Leicester just about, as I say, with the history, experience, they stay up.
I think that's probably what helps them out.
To kind of,
I feel like even if they have a points deduction, having someone like a Jamie Vardy, who's literally been in the doldrums of English football, or like having the quality they have, is they could very easily use that as like almost like Everton did, right, over the last couple of seasons.
Like a siege mentality, like, right, we can get over
everyone is rooting against us. No one thinks we can do this. Let's just go ahead and do it and show people that we can do it. So I think it could go either way. Boys, I'm looking forward to seeing how close we are. And this,
we're looking forward to bringing this up at the end of the season and laughing at how badly we were.
Oh boy, this could look bad.
Especially my top four, but we'll see. We shall see. Oh, boys, this has been a breath of fresh air. Missed you guys. Football's back. The boys are back. Oh, this is good. This is good. Life is good. Go Hammers. Go Chelsea.
No
question mark.
Down.
Go paint splatters.
Liverpool, maybe. I mean, who knows?
Maybe go on the Reds. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting season.
We'll see what happens.
We're going to have to see what happens. There's going to be twists and turns, as there always is in the Premier League. But it'll be great if you can all kind of hit like, subscribe, come and find us on YouTube, hit the button down the bottom. Boys are here. We're going to be trying to do this every week. We'll try and find a regular slot where we can all get together. And then we'll make sure that we're here to break down all the Premier League action with you here on SportsMag UK. But this has been Sunday night of weekend one. Geno, it's been so real having you back, man. We have missed you.
Thank you for joining us, brother. Much appreciated.
Much appreciate you coming and join us. We love you, buddy. Right, everybody else, we love you too. But please hit like, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.